Alright, cool. We're recording.
Alright, good deal.
Apparently Cardboard Carl wasn't a very big hit last time.
Is that right?
So
I think we can do it without Carl.
Alright. No Cardboard Carl this time.
Yeah. But why don't you set this up, because you kind of surprised me with what we're going to be going over today.
That's good, I guess.
Yeah.
There is a correction in the last video, the most basic part of the math we did. I screwed up. So, if you care, pay attention to the upper right-hand corner. We don't want to feed false information. So, if you see a little exclamation, asterisk, I'll probably try and add it into the video right here. So, like this little thingy up here. Click on it, and then it'll tell you what the correction is. We also forgot to tell people to like, subscribe, and comment.
Oh. Yeah, I guess that's important.
Yeah, the comments. We're gonna have. I'll try and remember in this because we're gonna go over the Nevada Big Game Survey. It was sent out a couple weeks ago. They sent it to, from what my sources told me, at NDOW. They sent it to 20,000 applicants from last year, which was about a quarter of all applicants. And the reason we're going over it is it's a really good survey. I'm really glad that NDOW took the initiative and sent this out because a lot of hunters have been upset over the last few years. The thing I don't like is they did so much good in this survey, but they only sent it to 1 out of 4 people. You know, that's the ratio.
Yeah.
And it's that is the part where it's you did so good, but you screwed up by not sending it to everybody because everybody would have appreciated this survey. And if they didn't appreciate it, they just wouldn't have taken it. But I didn't get a survey. Did you get a survey?
No, not that I recall, no.
And hunting and deer hunting especially, it means a lot to me. I would have liked to put my input on this instead of have to rely on those other people to answer for me. So,
yeah, definitely.
So we're going to go over the survey. If you wish that you had gotten a survey, just comment in the section below this video and just say yes. So we're going to try and push that. I'm going to try and push that to the guys I know at NDOW, hey, a lot of people want this survey that didn't get it, so maybe next time you'll get a survey. We'll see how much pull I have. I wouldn't count on it.
Yeah, and I'd just be interested in who they choose to send the survey to, because, depending on where you live in the state and what have you, I mean, your knowledge of some of the questions, and I'm going to be honest with you, I've gone through this first page just because it's sitting right here in front of me, but haven't deep dove into it. But just with the first several questions, there's some things in here that, people that spend a lot of time in the field could probably answer better than people that just drew a tag in the last, once in the last 5 years or something. Yeah. Yeah,
and that's why I think the survey should have went to everybody instead of just, 1 out of 4. And I'm sure they did an auto generation where they just randomly selected them.
Yep.
I know the survey was a little different for non-residents. They did get some non-residents did get surveys, and the survey was slightly different for them. The answer I got from the people that sent out the survey, the reason they didn't send it to everybody was because they didn't want people to get survey fatigue, and they knew that some people wouldn't answer the survey, which to me is kind of like a cop-out. It's a little bogus.
Yeah.
Because if you don't want to take the survey, just don't take it. But
you're missing people that care.
You're missing people that care.
There's a lot of people out there that actually care.
Yes, that didn't get the survey.
Didn't get the survey. Yeah.
And that's the part I don't like, because it's you sent it to 20,000 people. You could have very easily sent it to everybody, and you could have gathered that information from everybody. So. Yeah.
No, it's good notes to take to
end up. Yeah. So that's my critique for the boys there. And actually, one of the guys I know at NDOW, I'm going to leave the names out of it because none of them really gave me a throw my name in there.
Yeah.
But one of the guys there who was in part making the survey, he actually said that he wished the survey had gone to everybody.
Yeah.
Which,
it just makes the most sense. Yeah.
I'm wearing a hat now because I noticed in the last video my bald ass head was shining some light off of it. So.
Yeah.
All right.
How do you want to roll this?
We got to set a timer because I figured out the camera.
Okay.
I'll start this one. So, first question on the survey. This was sent The only reason I even know about the survey was because my wife got one. So I know that this survey was for the residents. I don't know the non-resident survey, but this survey was the one for the residents. So we're going to start at question 1. It says, are you a Nevada resident or a non-resident big game hunter?
Okay, obviously we're residents.
A, resident, B, non-resident. Obviously, yeah, we're residents.
Okay.
Okay, don't have to dive into that one very much. All right, question 2. Overall, how satisfied are you with the job that NDOW does managing big game hunting opportunities in Nevada? A, very satisfied. B, somewhat satisfied. C, neutral. D, somewhat dissatisfied. Or E, very dissatisfied. Joel, how would you rank NDOW?
You know, I might have mentioned it in the last video, but I've hunted a lot of states in the western United States, and the quality that you have here in Nevada is top notch. And
Yeah.
I might be a little biased because it's my backyard and I get to scout and be out and camping and doing other things with family and stuff like that through the summer months and watch animals and learn places. But really, if I was going to answer this survey, I would say somewhat satisfied, because I feel like we still kill too many does. I think that when we know that the cow population for elk has gotten a spike or something, we go in there and just kill a bunch of cows, and then so I think there's room between somewhat satisfied and being very satisfied. So,
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. We don't kill does anymore, but we have killed does for a very long time in Nevada. Mm-hmm. And I know that a lot of people, including myself, have been upset with that over the last 10, 15, 20 years.
Yeah, especially in units where, in our own backyard that we've seen hurt.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, we've seen the populations decline, and it's like, I know you're only allocating, 2 to 3% doe tags of the entire population, but it's still, to me, that's too much.
Yeah.
I don't see it being a necessity.
So what about you?
We'll probably do a mathematical breakdown of that, on why I feel like we shouldn't shoot does. I would say I'm somewhat satisfied. NDOW manages the elk, but they're not the ones who set the elk numbers in every unit. You can look that up if you just Google NDOW elk management plan. There's a conglomerate of other groups that actually, like ranching societies, that set the numbers for the elk, and NDOW has to manage within those numbers. So when it comes to elk, it's like, I can't be too mad at NDOW because a lot of it's out of their hands. Now, there is a lot of talk about opening up that elk management plan, which we'll probably try and get into that.
That might be a deep dive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be a deep dive. I'd like to get somebody on that actually is.
Because I didn't know that.
Yeah. A lot of people don't. With deer, that's where I would say I'm pretty dissatisfied with management, and it's just because I understand that there has been a big lack of precipitation over the last 15 years.
Yeah.
And I just don't feel like they changed or tried to adjust.
Yeah.
I feel like they should have been experimenting, trying to figure out ways to lessen the bleeding. Like, we were still going to bleed, but they didn't really do a whole lot to lessen the bleeding. And that's the part that I didn't really like. They're doing a lot of work now. They have been doing a lot of emastication projects, getting rid of a lot of PJ coverage, bringing back the shrub. BLM's finally getting some horses rounded up, which that's a huge detriment.
Yeah, that's a big one
So I think we're on the up and up, and then we just had the 3 wettest winters since the 80s. So I think deer populations will come back. But I would say I'm somewhat satisfied. I think there's always room for improvement.
Yeah, absolutely.
Until I can feasibly have the chance at a 200-inch buck every year, I'm not going to answer very satisfied.
Feasibly.
There's a 200-inch buck in every unit in Nevada.
100%.
We both hunt out of state a lot.
Yep.
I don't want Nevada to be like Utah, where you get excited because you see a forky.
No.
Nevada's much better than any other state we have around, except maybe Colorado. But Colorado just has the benefit of habitat and moisture that we don't.
Yeah, and Colorado has its own challenges. When you live in Nevada and you go hunting in Colorado, it's just the people, the volume. It's hard to deal with.
in Colorado, the last 10 years or so, they've actually been managing for like reduced deer herds and opportunities. So it's like it's getting harder to find big bucks in Colorado.
Yeah, for sure.
So Nevada's still the best of all the western states in my opinion, but I think there's room for improvement.
Yeah. All right, I'll take number 3. So in general, how have the number of big game hunting tags available in Nevada changed over the past few years, 2022 to 2024 is what they're being specific about here. So this is pretty much a test of your knowledge.
Yeah, and it says tag numbers are about the same. Tag numbers have gone up. Tag numbers have gone down, or I'm not sure. Well, 2022 tag numbers were fairly high. They were actually, there were some places they were increased. 2023, because 22, 23 we had that hard winter. 2023 was a pretty dramatic drop. 2024 is the lowest tags ever in Nevada since they started the application system, I think, in 1976. So tag numbers have actually gone down. Just speaking of Area 10, which is the rubies, those are the most deer tags in the state. I think 2022 for the early rifle there was over 1,000. 23, I think there was like 450. Last year there was like 293 residents. So I mean it's gone down a lot. This year the number is probably going to go back up. It is going back up.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be like 600.
Yeah.
Which is still low compared to like the long-term tag allotment for it.
So
but yeah,
if I
tags
were
have gone down.
Like from my perspective,
For deer. That's for deer. For antelope, they've actually been going up, and elk, they've been going up, if I'm not mistaken on that. Bighorn sheep, they've gone down, dealing with drought in southern Nevada. And then a lot of disease die-off, too. They've gone down dramatically.
That's a good note to take, though, about this question because it doesn't specify species.
Right. It's
so it's a pretty general,
Yeah. So that's a little more in-depth coverage of that question.
Yeah. All right.
Question 4. Are you aware of the county advisory boards to manage wildlife system, referred to as CABs or county game boards? Yes or no?
No.
See, I wasn't aware of this until a few years ago. I do know somebody who's on the CAB board here in Elko. Hopefully, I think I can get him on the show. I think he'll come on and talk about it at some point. Cool. If we get a good following.
Yeah, I didn't know. I wasn't aware of that.
But yeah, the county.
Do they help influence county advisory boards management of wildlife systems? So somebody locally that understands local farming, local logistics, local everything,
local hunting, all that stuff. Yeah, so it's like you have your county board, which are people from your county, and then every county has that board. And then you have the Wildlife Commission that's at the top of it. Yeah. Then you have NDOW over here. They just refer numbers to them, and then they decide on numbers.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, 5. Would you be interested in becoming more involved in wildlife conservation in Nevada? And I was just thinking about this today because I saw an Elko Bighorns guzzler project coming up for I think Grafton. They're going to do one in June 28th, I think. Mm-hmm. So I got a flyer for that or some kind of advertisement for that. And I was just thinking, you know what? I haven't done enough. So yeah, I would like to become more involved.
Yeah. I definitely would like to become more involved. It's tough with time, meeting with kids, and business and whatnot. But I do try to work in a little bit of that within my business. I know it's a small part and I have a small sample size, but I send the teeth off for aging. That's on my own accord.
That's fun.
It's cool. It's neat info. And then I, unprovoked and unwilling, maybe, I shove that information to the guys I know at NDOW, and I'm like, hey, check this out. This is what I'm gathering. But it's just a small sample size. Yeah. But I try to have contact. I would like to volunteer more, but it's tough for me.
But you're also educating your clients too. So I mean,
yes,
if you're educating your clients and they look at a deer or an elk or something like that, and they're like, "Wow, that was only a 3-year-old."
Yeah,
it triggers something in their brain and start kind of
the opposite effect too. You get a buck that's in the prime of their life. The prime is 6, 7, and 8. At 5, they're like 90 to 95% of their full potential. But I've had bucks come in the shop that are 130 and 140 class bucks that are 7-year-olds.
Yeah.
Prime of their life.
Yeah,
they're never going to amount to anything more than what they are.
Not everybody's going to be 6'7" and be a basketball player.
Yeah, exactly.
You know
That's
what I mean?
just it,
So,
man. It takes a lot to grow a big buck.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. Right. Where are we at now?
5A? Would you prefer to be involved?
How would you prefer to be involved? Checked all that apply. Attend in-person county advisory board, the CAB meetings. I suggest everybody do that. That's the best way to get involved. Let your voice be heard. Go to those meetings.
And it's like in your county, it's like in your place of interest. So.
Yeah, I think that's something NDOW needs to be better at pushing when those meetings are, and whether they're talking to the CAB people or whatever.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know when these meetings are. The information's not easy to find.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. Attend virtual county advisory board meetings. You can do that as well. And
so
you can actually put in public input too.
So that's not bad. If they have a virtual route, that's good.
Attend virtual commission meetings. So that's the upper echelon above the counties. And then volunteer for NDOW, volunteer for NGOs. That'd be like Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation, Nevada Bighorns. Then I'm not sure, then other. So they leave a suggestion in there too.
Huh.
So.
No, that's good information,
Yeah.
All right, number 6. Is it my turn or your turn?
I don't care.
Okay.
Send it.
Which entity sets hunting seasons and big game tag quotas each year in Nevada? You have A, Nevada NDOW, B, NBWC, which is Nevada Board of Wildlife Commissioners, C, County Advisory Boards, D, I'm not sure, E, other. And honestly, I'm at the...
I know the answer.
I think it's B.
Pick
I think
me.
it's B, right? Yeah.
Yeah, the Nevada Board of Wildlife Commissioners.
Yeah.
So as I was saying earlier, you have your CAB, your county boards, right? The commission are the head honchos. They're the guys in charge of everything. They set the numbers. NDOW refers based off of their scientific studies and research and surveys and all that. They refer numbers. And then the county boards take into effect the local population and that the county meeting and what they suggest. The county will refer to the commissioners, and the commissioners take in part what the county says as well as what NDOW says, and then they come to an agreement.
Okay. Huh.
Yep.
Good info. Yeah.
All right. Which information sources do you rely on for information about hunting, wildlife management, and conservation in Nevada? NDOW website,
There's a lot here.
friends and family, NDOW publications, NDOW emails, NDOW staff, other hunters, hunting publications and services, conservation organizations, other websites or internet forums, podcasts, YouTube, or other. There's a lot of questions.
I have a mixture because every year...
And you can check all that apply.
Yeah, every year, I mean, there's several podcasts that I listen to that touch on Nevada, like every year. So there's a few podcasts I listen to. Definitely NDOW website. Emails. NDOW emails. That's probably the strongest one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. For me, a lot of it has to do with the website. I do my own research and deep dive into it. I don't really pay too much attention to like emails. I do, but it's like most of the emails I get are things I already know.
Oh.
Because I've done the research.
Oh, gotcha.
I don't listen to friends or family because a lot of them are wrong.
I haven't even heard of that.
Yeah. NDOW staff. Yeah, I do listen to.
Friends and family, like our own friends.
Yeah, like our own friends.
Oh,
and
gotcha.
family. Yeah.
I was sitting here thinking there's a podcast called Friends or Family.
No.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't listen to other hunters.
My bad. I'm slow. That's all right.
Hunting publications, services. I mean, I guess the wildlife regs are publications, so I read those. So yeah. Podcasts. I listen to podcasts, but not for too much other than. I
just listen to the Epic, to the Hunt and Full, to Randy Newberg. Like they always touch on. Honestly, like tracks or what's it called now? Whatever his is.
Fresh Tracks.
Yeah. They actually bring pretty good information.
They're legit. They're good.
Yeah,
they do a lot of good information. Yeah. All right. We're running out of time in this clip, so
cool. Let's do 8.
Well, that'll be part 1. We're gonna have to stop and reset.
Okay. So do we want to start a part two right now?